Quentin Tarantino says 2019 was the last year of movies. I would tend to agree with him. From this is from IndieWire, though it was reported everywhere. Quentin Tarantino, Hollywood film business has been dead for years. 2019 was the last fucking year of movies. And I would, this is January 28th, so that's today. And he had some comments at the Sundance Film Festival and talked about this. I'll read the salient part of his quote, which I think is really good. It's in a lot of stories here. He says, I'm in no hurry to actually jump into production. He's talking about his last film. I've been doing that for 30 years. Next month, my son turns 5, and I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. When I'm in America, I'm writing. When I'm in Israel, I'm an Abba, which means father. He goes on to say, the idea of jumping on a voyage when they're too young to understand it is not enticing to me. I kind of want to not do whatever movie I end up doing until my son is at least 6. That way he'll know what's going on. He'll be there, and it will be a memory for the rest of his life. But his comments about movies in this last couple paragraphs, that's what everyone is talking about. He said, that's a big fucking deal, pulling a play off. He talks about how he's writing plays. And I don't know if I can. So here we go. That's a challenge, a genuine challenge. But making movies, what the fuck is a movie now? What? Something that plays in the theaters for a token release for 4 fucking weeks? This is a quote, his language. All right. And by the second week, you can watch it on television. I didn't get into all this for diminishing returns. I mean, it was bad enough in 97. It was bad enough in 2019. And that was the last fucking year of movies. That was a shit deal as far as I was concerned. The fact that it's gotten dramatically worse and that it's a show, pony exercise. Now the theatrical release, and then in 2 weeks, you can watch it on this streamer and that one. Okay, theater, you can't do that. It's the final frontier. I agree with them. It even ties into what we're about to review, the Spider-Man show, animated show, where half the time people are on their phones. In an animated show, people are on their phones and sending emails. We'll get to that soon. But what do you think of these comments, Alan? And having just been at Sundance, they're not showing their best. I kept asking people, what is the buzz? What's the buzz? I didn't get one clear answer. What are your comments on Tarantino? What he has to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you put yourself in the shoes of Tarantino, this is an interesting article, because he's a filmmaker. He's always been a filmmaker, and it just sounds like he's lost the passion for filmmaking, and specifically because he makes a movie. Will it show in a theater? He owns a theater. I guess he could play it there, but it's not going to go. You don't have that theatrical release that goes on for several weeks. And so I get it. He's frustrated. And it's like, well, why not try something really challenging and write a play? Because what's the point? What's the point in doing all this work when there's nothing to show for it? And that's, that is the sad direction. And we're probably, I've been formulating this kind of story over the last few weeks that will impact a lot of what's going to happen in the movie business over this next year. But it's not looking good. And, we're going to be watching those numbers and just seeing that, I will tell you this, based on the story I'm putting together, Avatar will not hit $1 billion.
Really?
Yeah, will not hit $1 billion globally. And, we'll go into it in a few weeks when I get this.
Well, as someone who has a private theater to see IMAX films in Orange County,
yeah,
I see your pictures. You're the only guy in the theater. That is not a business that is sustain that. You can't sustain that.
I mean, the theaters are Regal, and it was when during the pandemic when Regal had basically their closure list. Our little Yorba Linda Theater was on that list, and it was built 2 years before, and I think the city just felt like we can't let this theater fail, and so they renegotiated the lease. But yeah, even with those good deals, you know, I am often the only person in a screening, and it's the big Hollywood studio films that gets the audience, and unfortunately, that's all they're showing at that theater. I'm still traveling across town to see the smaller films. It's
Yeah,
sad.
yeah, it's well, I'm lucky. The theaters I go to are very crowded, but it's near the
Mhm.
industry.
Yeah,
You expect people in the industry to be there and support. So,
and I'm in
yeah,
freaking Yorba Linda, so
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was a great experience. I saw it in the Cinerama Dome, which was in the movie, and we even went to um El Coyote, which is
uh-huh.
also in the movie. Went to eat there. We got margaritas and Mexican food, and I love that place. But yeah, the industry it's diminishing. Cinema, I think there will always be outliers. There'll always be like last year Oppenheimer or Godzilla -1. There'll be theatrical experiences or a Dune Part 2. But that is like few and far between.
Mhm.
There aren't many filmmakers like Denis Villeneuve, Tarantino, Chris Nolan. Those are the Avengers of keeping cinema alive, and it's dying off. There's no one to replace them.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. The only two movies this year that had success, that forced a longer run at the theaters, was Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. Everything else,
Right.
even Wicked is not getting the run it you would thought it would have.
Correct.
Um, you know, eh, this is just a bad year. And look, the prospect that we're going to start getting really good movies is not on the horizon. Not until Superman and Fantastic Four come out. What do we have to look forward to? Because there will be big studio films, Captain America and Snow White.
We'll get to
But
that.
yeah, but that's a long time to wait. And as much as I feel for these theater owners while they're raising the ticket prices and pouring out more popcorn buckets, you feel for them, but Hollywood ain't helping them out at all.